Alrighty. Everything should be set to go. Everything should be set to go. Let's get this show on the road. My brownie. I guess I can have my brownie after the stream. It shouldn't take that long. Hi. Welcome in, folks. Welcome. Now, I did want to quick warning here. I will be doing two shows tonight. They will be going on. One of them will go around at 9:30, and it'll be sort of a like a late night thing. It's gonna be a little skit. I do the real winners and losers of March Madness. Also, I am wearing something different today because I need to look professional here. Also, the Lady Sooners. They're in the suite. They're in the round of 32 after beating today. So far, we'll also go over my bracket so far because it has taken a hit as of recently. We've now had. It's funny enough, I'm an A plus, but we'll see how the rest of it turns out. So we're gonna go over a full recap of day 1 and day 2, which would be yesterday and the day before that, and we'll go from there. Also, if I'm not, my voice is kind of killed. It's because I was out with I was out with a special someone to go. We went bowling earlier on in the day, so that's why my voice sounds like this. That is also why I have sort of small bags under my eyes, just because that's what ended up. That's just tired. But YouTube is YouTube. Currently, I am watching the Illinois and VCU game. This game, I have VCU winning. If VCU loses, this will drop my bracket a lot. Right now, I'm sitting at a 250%. So I'm basically doing very nice, actually. So let's go over a full recap. We'll go in order of when they played, not of tournament side. So moving over to ESPN's. We're going to start on with the first game that took place, TCU and Ohio State. This game was on CBS, and it was a pretty entertaining game. Yeah, it was a pretty entertaining game. Obviously, with that finisher by Xavier Edmonds, that finisher with 4.3 seconds to give TCU the win over Ohio. That game also almost went into overtime, but just a beautiful layup. And just Ohio State was just out guarded somehow, even though they were the better guarded team that night. That morning. But overall, it was an upset. It wasn't a huge upset, but it still was an upset according to March Madness logic. And so that was the first destructive wrecking ball to my bracket, which means I didn't even have a first game of the first day. My bracket was already busted. But overall, TCU had a very, very, very interesting interesting day. Obviously, with day 2 hitting around, you had as with the by the way, this was Thursday morning. With the help of Xavier Edmond, and also Punch as well. Bruce Thornton with the help. All three of those contributed to TCU climbing out of a hole and coming back from behind to win 66-64 over the Buckeyes. And a lot of people picked Ohio State to win, but TCU, I think, is the better team in this game. When you see the winners and when we get to the winners and losers, you'll see where I put Ohio State in this. But TCU, I believe, is a strong opponent, although today they did lose to Duke. So it brings into question how physical, how good was Ohio State if TCU got blown out by Duke. I won't say there was some ref bias and ref fault, but TCU just was not able to execute the second game. I know it sounds like I'm being a hater for TCU, but it does really bring into question who was the better team that night or that morning. Was it TCU lucky, or was it just the Buckeyes just got outguarded? So that's the first upset of the day. You then had right after that you had where is it? You had Wisconsin taking on High Point. This was the 12-5 matchup. There's in March Madness, there's a saying that goes, "There's going to be a 12-5 upset," and you try to predict it, but it never happens. This year it did happen, and we just didn't predict. We predicted the wrong upset. People had Wisconsin over High Point, but the actual 5-12 matchup would be Akron and Texas Tech. So this was a misfire on a lot of people's brackets, which definitely damaged a lot of people. And still, I don't know how some people have a perfect bracket. This fooled everyone. High Point, obviously, going into the year, were very, 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 very good in the Ivy League. They took care of the regular season. They won the tournament, but they just came up very short at the very end. After winning the tournament, they got their first at-large bid. They came just short of becoming the number 11 seed, and so they had to face Wisconsin, as Wisconsin took the 5 seed over the Dukies. The Dukes obviously took the 5 seed away from Wisconsin and became the number 1 seed. Wisconsin was originally the number 1 seed, with Purdue being the 2nd seed, but we all know how that changed at the end of the season. It was now Arizona, Duke, Michigan, and Florida. Sorry, UConn, not UConn. Sorry, Florida. So, other than that, whoever was the white kid, Chase Johnson, who is getting just went off the air on this one. I don't know who he is or where he's from, but dude is just hitting threes left, right, and center. Wisconsin had more threes than Wisconsin did free throws, and I think that this shows that you don't look at the down teams from this. Wisconsin had the entire game under control. Then High Point came right back in a stunning last-minute comeback to close the hole they dug, and come back 83-82 to beat the number 5 Wisconsin. 3-point shots, Wisconsin had more, but turnovers was the killer for Wisconsin, although VCU did have that right guard who kept the point guard who needs to be drug tested. That kid is on fire. He was on fire, hitting threes all night long. That's what gave him this momentum swing, but it's the turnovers and the turnovers really killed, not the turnovers, sorry. The percent lead really killed Wisconsin's chances over the edge, because with those turnovers and those 3-point shots, it just dug Wisconsin a harder hole to get out of, and because of that, they could not hold off the upset. So High Point moves on to face with Arkansas, which that game is on tomorrow. It'll be on tonight after Vanderbilt, Nebraska. The game will be on TNT or TBS and True. That game should decide. If High Point upsets Arkansas, then High Point might be a Final Four contender. We will see, but I do have Arkansas beating High Point to move on to the Sweet 16. Moving down the line, we had our next one that was let's see, where is it? Louisville and South Florida. South Florida, that was the upset that everyone was waiting for. Unfortunately, we just did not realize Louisville, even though they did not have one of their star players, they still played good enough to hold off the upset, winning 79-83 over the Bulls. And very disappointing for South Florida. South Florida looked very hot at the beginning of the final stretch of the American tournament, but they just could not hold off. The relentless onslaught of Louisville just could not keep the Bulls from getting anywhere near that give over that hump and they were playing catch up from the moment they started, meaning that unfortunately for the Bat Bulls, the Cinderella team was destroyed on the very day, the court that they thought they could win. Very disappointing for South Florida. I had them beating all the way up to the final, to the Sweet 16, but that crashed my bracket completely, and I had no idea. I had no point in seeing Louisville past the first round. So 79-83, McNeely tried to score as much as he could, but the lead was just too great at the end, and Louisville was able to hold on, beating USF. Going down the list, we then had the game, in my opinion, that started this whole debacle. We had Duke, number 1 Duke, go up against Siena. This game was one, if not the scariest for the number 1, because Duke for the whole time was trailing in the first half of the game. Siena had a lead over them the entire first half, but the number 1 seed showed why they are the number 1 overall seed. They were able to come back and just run away with the game at the very end, scoring 39 in the second half and getting over the hump to take back the lead and escape the upset. Siena was the closest team, so we know of, in this round to fully grasp the clutches of victory. However, Duke did pull off more. Was able to get more execution better than Siena at the very end, and that what led them on the run they did, and they closed out the biggest scare in probably March Madness history, as we could have very well seen the 4th ever team to lose to a 16 seed after being the number 1 team. Although I am disappointed that Siena is not making it through. I think they were probably the worst 16 seed, but they definitely had the high power offense that could match up with Duke. But I think they were just a worse 16 seed, in my opinion. And I think Prairie View and Siena were probably two, if not, probably did not deserve to be in the tournament, but they did win their tournament conference, so they got it in by basically first round bar. Moving down the list here, there was really nothing else exciting. I got most of these right. Louisville, Michigan State. Not this one. UCLA didn't really matter. That game was a scare, but UCLA pulled through at the end. UConn wasn't really a fight until the very end. Nothing really else happened. Everyone took care of business. St. John's took care of business. Arizona took care of business. Utah State pulled off the slight upset. Texas beat a lot of these teams. Just took care of business. Miami took care of business. Gonzaga took care of business. Purdue took care of business. Florida, Vanderbilt, Nebraska, VCU, Illinois, A&M, Houston, everyone took care of business. The only major thing was this one, which I will recap tomorrow in the winners and losers. So I'm naming all teams, but I'm just not going to be going through every one of them that I feel like deserves a spot. Mainly it's just I think that I'm going to break my voice by doing that. So everything else went according to plan. My bracket survived most of this day, apart from a High Point. I would say the biggest shocking was High Point, TCU, Texas, and Louisville. But either way, I did indeed. Most of my bracket did survive it. If you want, you can come over here. And if I zoom in here, as you can see, you can see my bracket. I was able to do. Let me make sure this says. So, day 1 and day 2. Sorry, a hair in my nose. Day 1 and day 2. You can see my percentages, my bracket. I got a B plus, got a B in my bracket. Went 237, got 237%. That was 12 out of 9. I got 12 out of 9 there. So, yeah. I'm actually gonna. So yeah, Duke will be Duke will face the winner of St. John's, which will be tomorrow. This game I'm really curious about because if St. John's is if what they claim to be, then they should be able to handle Kansas easily. And as I'm looking at it right now, it looks like VCU has been able to weather the storm. Okay, good to know. Good to know. Texas and Gonza, this game right here. This game should probably be on upset alert because if Texas ends up beating Gonza, this will hurt probably so many people's brackets. Okay. Moving on down to the bottom half, to the South and Midwest. VCU right now, you can see here. This game right here will also be interesting. But bracket over here to my bracket. I got Hawaii wrong, Ohio State, USF, North Dakota, Cal Baptist, Missouri, BYU, Hofstra, and Pennsylvania wrong. So I did go 12-9, which is pretty good pretty good record for me. For the first time ever playing March Madness bracket tournament, I think this is a very good score for what I did so far. Moving on to the round of 32, my bracket so far I am, here, let me make this 3 of 3-0. So 3-0 currently on round of 32. So far, VCU, I need VCU to win, Vanderbilt and Gonza. Gonza needs to pull through. I need Gonza to win. If they don't win, then this will become a 1. Going back to this, you can clearly see this game is going to be on high alert here. This game starts at 8:02 p.m. Tip-off does not start until 8:10. This game, let's see, where is it? This game right here will be the game of the night. Wrong game. This game right here will be the game of the night because this right here is a chance for Purdue to etch their name into the history books. Also, it looks like VCU is currently down 1 against Illinois. And Illinois just got a foul. Okay, take care. So looking more at it, so yeah. Also, I do not need this tie. I'm not really trying to be formal here. I'm just going to take this off because it is getting kind of hot. Speaking of hot, can't believe how hot it was today. Looking at this right here, and the Texas has taken a lead over Gonza. This ain't good. Yeah. So here's my bracket so far. I'm gonna let you guys know winners and losers coming out. I think I need to still finish writing that. This is my overall right now. My overall right now is 25 over 10. If Gonza holds on, then that'll be changed to 26 over 10. But this, I'm scared. My scaredest pick tonight will be VCU, Tennessee, and UConn. But we shall see. I am hoping Purdue comes in. I basically need Purdue, Arizona, and Vanderbilt to move on. But yeah, we went through all of these teams right here. So yeah, I've officially lost the the East side. I've lost the Duke battle. I did not have Duke making it to the Sweet 16. So that means I need St. John's to win, so at least have let's see if I pull out my bracket. St. John's, and if St. John's make it, so that way St. John's has a shot to beat Duke, which I think they can. We'll talk all about that later on down the week. Maybe upcoming, maybe Monday, we'll talk about it. Real quick, I do have my brownies here. I do have the brownies. I'm going to probably eat it after stream. So yeah. Alrighty, well, I kind of had to switch this video stream to a different one, but be on the lookout for winners and losers. That game will be coming out soon. Other than that, keep an eye on VCU and also Gonza, because these two could possibly be upsets, and I don't know about it. Yeah, obviously I do. Obviously, I have VCU moving into the Sweet. I have VCU moving into the Sweet 16 to face either Vanderbilt or Nebraska to face Vanderbilt, and then Vanderbilt to move on. So, but that's going to do it for me, folks. Thank you guys for watching. I'm probably going to go take a shower real quick and get ready for the night stream that'll be coming on at 9:15 while we're not in focus. Whatever, it's not on focus. I don't care. 9:25. We're going to do winners and losers. Have the script ready. Might go work on it more. God, I'm tired. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys afterwards. Have a good night, everyone. Get me out.